Hello everyone, this is Leo from Music, Motorcycles and Ministry, your place for encouragement, education, and inspiration. Today we're going to talk about Messianic prophecy. Not end-time prophecy, but Messianic prophecy, which is prophecy about Jesus coming to redeem us from our sins and to save us from death caused by the disobedience of Adam and Eve in the garden. Prophecy of Jesus coming to redeem our sins goes way back to the first book in the Bible in Genesis. Right after Adam and Eve disobeyed God, God told the serpent, he said, "And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel." So in other words, Satan bruised his heel by getting a small victory of having Jesus crucified and put to death. But then Jesus crushed his head by getting the ultimate victory of rising from the dead and redeeming his children. So, why is it important to know Messianic prophecy? Jesus said, "You search the scriptures because in them you think you have life." He says, "And it is those that speak of me." Messianic prophecy will strengthen your belief, because the chances of all these prophecies in the Old Testament, which there are about over 300 to be fulfilled by Jesus in the New Testament, are astronomical. There was a mathematician named Peter Stoner who did a probability study and found that the probability of just 8 prophecies being fulfilled would be 1 in 10 to the 17th power. To give you an idea what that would be like, it would be like taking that many coins, silver dollars, and marking one of those coins, and then spreading them all over the whole state of Texas, and that would give you about a 2-foot depth. And then you take a blindfolded person and tell them to walk around Texas and randomly pick one coin out. And if he picked out that one coin that was marked, that would be the probability of Jesus fulfilling just 8 of the prophecies in the Old Testament. The study went on further that said if he would have fulfilled 48 prophecies, the odds of that would be 1 in 10 to the 157th power. So this should convince you, or anyone you're trying to convince that the Bible is real, that this is a real spiritual book divinely inspired by God, and not just some book that men wrote and took guesses, because that could never happen. So you can see references all through the Bible, all through the Old Testament about Jesus. For instance, Cain killing Abel, Jesus being betrayed by Judas, and Joseph being betrayed by his brothers and sold into slavery to Egypt, and Isaac being ready to be sacrificed on the altar by Abraham until Jesus stopped him and provided a ram that was caught in a thicket of thorns, which represents the thorns that Jesus had on his head. And that's all stuff only in the first book of Genesis. Then there's also Jonah, represented Jesus being in the belly of the earth for 3 days, just like Jonah was in the belly of the whale for 3 days. And then there's like Daniel in the lion's den. The stone was rolled in front of the lion's den and he couldn't get out for 3 days. So there's all kinds of references to Jesus in the Old Testament. There are so many prophecies about Jesus in the Old Testament. So I'll go over just a few of the more popular ones. For instance, in Micah chapter 5, verse 2, it says, "But thou, Bethlehem Ephratah, thou though be a little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me that is to be the ruler in Israel, whose goings forth have been from of old, from everlasting." So that is a prophecy of where Jesus was to be born, in Bethlehem. Another one is in Psalms 22. It starts out, it says, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" And that's what Jesus said on the cross. It also goes on to describe what he went through on the cross. And this is many, many hundreds of years before it actually happened. It says, many bulls have encompassed me, strong bulls of Bashan have beset me around. They gaped upon me with their mouths, as a ravening and a roaring lion. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are put out of joint. My heart is like wax, it is melted in the midst of my bowels. My strength is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue cleaveth to the roof of my mouth. And thou hast brought me into the dust of death, for the dogs have encompassed me. The assembly of the wicked have enclosed me. They pierced my hands and my feet. I may tell all my bones. They look and stare upon me. They part my garments among them and cast lots upon my vestures. But these are the things that happened to Jesus on the cross. And another thing with Messianic prophecy, it also helps you to get to know Jesus better, because we don't know him just from the Gospels, but all through the Bibles you'll start getting glimpses of him, and you'll get to know him better and better. So that's another good thing about Messianic prophecy that's very important. Okay, in Isaiah 53 is also another very popular and important prophecy about Jesus. It says, who hath believed our report, and to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of dry ground. He hath no form or comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows, and acquainted with grief. And we bid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he hath borne our griefs, and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to our own way, and the Lord hath laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed, and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before his shearers is dumb. So he opened not his mouth. He was taken from prison and from judgment, and who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living, for the transgressions of my people was stricken. And he made his grave with the wicked, and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He hath put him to grief when thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin. He shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. So it goes on, but it's another example how this was predicted way before Jesus went through all that stuff. And this should really encourage you and strengthen your faith, knowing that this stuff was predicted way before it happened. So, this has been a very, very basic, unpolished video on this subject, but I hope I got my point across. There's a lot more videos on YouTube that are probably more detailed and way more polished, and I encourage you to check those out too, because the more you learn on this subject, the better. The more you learn about this, the more you realize who Jesus is and what he had done for us. So, until next time, God bless you, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe and hit the notification button if you want, so that you can know when I put my next video up. Okay, thanks, and God bless. Bye.